they see Jesus transfigured, and they see Moses and Elijah pointing at him, right? And then John came with the spirits of Elijah. So let me get weird, and then I'll come back to common sense stuff. In Judaism, there's an understanding of a kind of reincarnation that can occur where the spirits of somebody can come back in another person's body to assist somebody. And this can happen when they're born or later on in life. You know that whole thing about Rebecca being 3? You've heard before, right? One of the explanations behind that the rabbis have is that she was 3 years old in terms of when the spirits of Isaac's mother entered her. So the spirit had been in her for 3 years to aid Isaac, right? So ultimately, when John is coming in the spirit of Elijah, from a Christian understanding, he is coming in the likeness of Elijah to fulfill a very specific function, which is to prepare the way for the Lord, now, talk about him coming.
Now, the question will now be, are you going to say to me now that till now Elijah is not dead yet?
So, Elijah is alive in the Lord, as well as all the other saints and patriarchs.
So it's not
Abraham is alive. So don't forget.
No. Wait. Don't let us go in that one.
Okay, define death.
Let us talk about as human being. Jesus lived one way or the other. He was
so is Elijah in his body?
Yes.
No.
Elijah in his body lived.
So is today?
Wait, not now. I'm not talking about now. For a particular point in time, Elijah existed on this land. He was preaching and he was whatever. As a human being.
In a human body.
Yes.
Correct.
And at a point in time, he went to the heaven with a chariot or whatever.
Sure.
He took him to the heaven.
Sure.
Now, he didn't die on this earth.
Sure.
Now, so what I'm saying is, everybody, human being that we know that comes on this world, both Jesus, me, you, everything or whatever, they are so separated from our body, we die, isn't it? So, because to me, my interpretation is Elijah came, and the spirit, maybe, like what you said, maybe the spirit is in John the Baptist or anything. So I can say John the Baptist is actually Elijah, which actually come back.
And because Jesus said that,
exactly,
that he was Elijah. Okay?
That is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But what they are saying to me is no, John the Baptist is not Elijah. Because if you see that it is not, then does that mean that Elijah till now is not dead?
So
because John, he hasn't come and he's not dead
yet. John and Elijah are not the same person. Okay? So to come in the spirit of something or the spirit of somebody doesn't entail that you are not the same person as that original person you're speaking about. So John and Elijah have two separate existences.
So different.
Yeah, they are two different human beings.
Sure.
Absolutely. Okay. So the only difference is that the function that John is serving is the function that Elijah is set to serve in Malachi.
So then is it okay to say that John the Baptist is not dead? Elijah is not dead yet then?
So again, when you say not dead yet, are you implying that his body hasn't separated from his soul?
Yes.
No, it has.
It has?
It has, it has. You can't enter heaven sort of like in a physical form until the resurrection.
But we don't know if, but that time, where did he go? We were told he went to heaven.
So it says that he went to the heavens.
Yes.
But in Christian theology...
But he's not back yet.
Huh?
Nobody says he's back yet.
He came back he came back. So he came back in John.
But you're saying, so when you say he came back in John, so would I say this is John and this is Elijah?
That's what Jesus said, yeah.
So I can say this is Elijah.
Yeah.
Am I right to say that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
In a correct sense though. Not that he's the same person as Elijah.
Is this the same person?
No. That's the wrong sense.
So what you're trying to say is what he is supposed to do, maybe...
Yeah, the function.
In function.
Yeah.
So that means he's not dead yet then.
So
when John the Baptist died, does that mean Elijah is dead too?
So Elijah and John.
Think about this.
Elijah and John are both dead.
Later,
Elijah and John are both dead in the sense that they have separated.
How did Elijah die?
He separated from his soul separated from his body.
Where? When?
When he was taken up into the heavens. Because there are no physical.
No.
There are no physical human beings in heaven until the resurrection.
If you're implying that.
So that is the reality.
Because people were still expecting
There's
Elijah
a reason
to
that
come
Jesus
before
says.
Jesus.
There's a reason that Jesus says, no one has ever been to heaven except he who came from heaven, aka himself. So in our theology, nobody was in heaven until Jesus came and died on the cross.
Yeah, maybe it's not in the heaven. Maybe it is another different kind of heaven.
Yeah. So that would be what the Jews would call Sheol.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. So are we still saying that Elijah is not dead?
And you're defining not dead as what exactly?
The separation of body from the soul. Because when he left this world,
Yep.
he was with his body and the soul.
Yeah, so
when did he get separated?
When he was on the chariot or leaving.
I will disagree. Do you know why?
You can't disagree because Sheol is not a physical place. So how can a physical thing enter Sheol?
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's make a similitude of Jonah when he was in the belly of the fish.
Yeah, he was dead.
What do people think?
He was dead.
No, he was dead.
That's why he
Exactly.
says, my soul cried out from Sheol. And he wasn't in Sheol physically. He was in Sheol by his soul.
By his what?
By his soul.
So could that not be by his soul too for Elijah?
That's what I've said. His soul went to Sheol, but his physical body did not.
So where is his physical body?
You know how the Bible says that God buried Moses?
God buried Moses.
Yeah. Is it next? Sorry, Exodus. It's in Deuteronomy, I think. Yeah. Moses ascends to a hill and it says that God buries him, and no one knows where he is until today. And when in the story of Elijah, he goes with his disciple or apprentice Elisha, and him and Elisha cross a sea. They divide a sea in two and they cross it, very similar to Moses. And then on the way back, Elisha wanted double the blessing that Elijah had. I think it was double 7 times. One of those multiplier numbers. Anyway, he gets it, and then he divides the sea on his own and comes back. When he comes back, the people who are waiting for Elijah said, "Hey, where's Elijah?" He says he's ascended into heaven. And then they're saying, "Oh wait, no, you can't believe that. What if he fell on the mountains?" So they go looking for him in the mountains and come back and they can't find him. So I'm gonna say that God buried his body.
But is that what you say?
Yes.
Or what the Bible says?
Effectively, the happenings of the body is not given in the Bible, but I can infer as such because Moses is similar. Because Elijah and Moses are similar in a number of ways.
But in terms of
including,
Moses, does that say that in the Bible?
Yes.
Yes. So, all right.
So and to this day, no one knows where he's buried. Yep.
I catch that one that he said because it's actually in the scripture.
Yeah, sure.
But with Elijah, that is buried, I know you are inferring to that.
But it wasn't said that Moses was lifted up.
No, Moses wasn't lifted up, but Elijah was. However, wherever Elijah winds up is not a physical place, so he can't go there physically.
No, you may not say that. You can go physically, but you may be close in another
How
clothing.
can you go physically to...
How can you go to the moon physically?
Because the moon's a physical place.
So...
The moon's a physical place.
But you don't know where God carried Elijah to.
Well, it's the afterlife, and the afterlife is not a physical place.
No, it's not the afterlife.
He did carry him to the afterlife.
When the Bible says heaven, what does it mean?
So wait, so there's a difference here, right? So I was telling, sorry, for your name.
Sorry,
huh?
Ade.
Sorry. I was saying, Ade, Jesus says, no one has ever been to heaven except he who came from heaven.
The heaven he was referring to is where?
The paradise afterlife, if you will, right?
So because the heaven is a generic name, that's what I want you to
Well,
know.
it depends.
Outside the space is heaven.
No.
When God said God created the heaven and earth, what does it mean?
That's not heaven. You're talking about the heavens with an S. The heavens is like a term for the sky and things beyond the sky.
In Genesis, was it heavens that was
heavens and the earth, yes. The heavens and the earth, yes, with an S. So that's a reference to anything that is essentially beyond our visible sky and anything in our physical space, wherever. But heaven itself is like a spiritual location. Yeah. So effectively,
I think it's kind of a little bit complicated.
What do you think about Elijah? So the idea that he was taken up, but at some point there must have been a separation of body and soul. Or do you hold like a different view on that? Because otherwise, he would have gone to the
There
afterlife.
probably would have had to have been a separation of body and soul at some point.
Because he can't go to Sheol, the afterlife, whatever, physically.
I don't know. It depends. If you think heaven is like a physical location.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if I would say that. I would say time takes place in heaven because change must take place in heaven in some sense, right? So I think it should be temporal. I don't know about spatial though. That's a complicated question.
Exactly.
You think it should be temporal, Abi? You said that's what I.
I don't know.
I understand the issue of Sheol. That is when you are dead.
But
But he wasn't dead.
nobody was going to heaven before Jesus came and died on the cross.
What about what's his name? Enoch.
Where did Enoch
Huh?
get translated to?
Enoch is a complicated one too.
Oh, here we
Because so there's two ideas, right? There's the Jewish idea where some will say that Enoch became an angel, right? And for us,
That is crazy.
that's a slight problem because we understand that different things that are created have different natures.
Yeah.
So essentially,
Yes.
different like intrinsic things that apply to that kind of existence. So
Angels can become man.
Okay, let me
they
just.
can come in the form of man, but they can't transform into a man.
Let me just tell
Yeah.
you something. I believe
I wa-
them to be wherever they
yeah,
want to be.
yeah.
God must have clothed them in a manner that they can exist there. But when we talk about heaven, where you say maybe paradise or something like
Yep.
that, that is not where they are.
Now or
Now,
or
I'm
the,
telling you about now, you can't be there until you die.
yes, and
You
Elijah
have
is
to
dead.
die first.
Elijah is dead physically,
That is in form
but
of who?
alive.
In form of who?
Huh?
In form of who? How did he die?
So I'm saying that when he was taken up, he like shed his human flesh or whatever. Yeah.
Why did Jesus say it was Elijah?
Huh?
Why did Jesus say John the Baptist was?
Yeah. So I was saying either before, right? So effectively, you can interpret it in a number of ways. If you want to jump in here, you can. But this is how I would say it. There are things in the Old Testament that are done physically that can be represented in a spiritual, metaphorical way in the New Testament. The example I like bringing up is in John 3:14, where Jesus talks about when Moses fashioned the bronze serpent in the wilderness, and how that bronze serpent effectively represents Jesus. So Jesus is not a bronze.
I have a problem with that.
Well, the story of the bronze serpent is that the children of Israel
I
are.
understand. I know the story, but
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. Maybe we'll talk about
Effectively, Jesus crucified, hung up. You look upon him, you attain salvation. Same thing with the snake. So there's a similarity there. So you can say in one instance that John.
Oh,
Sorry.
In the book of Malachi, when the Jews were told that they should expect Elijah
To come, yeah.
physically or spiritually.
So Elijah does come physically, but John represents Elijah. So John fills the role of Elijah.
How did he come back physically?
So it's not Elijah per se reincarnating. Yeah, the idea is that he came in the spirit of Elijah. So effectively in the function of Elijah. So for example, like when somebody is called the spiritual successor to a person.
Transmigration of Elijah's soul into John the Baptist. Is that what you're saying?
There is a not necessarily.
There's a differentiation between spirit and soul.
But they come together basically. Yeah, they come together. So effectively, what I'm saying here is that there is a Jewish understanding, but this is like a Kabbalistic understanding that reincarnation can happen in a certain way. However, I don't believe as Christians we hold to that.
That's not reincarnation.
You don't believe in reincarnation?
That is not reincarnation.
No. So literally,
You know why it's not
they
reincarnation?
believe that a spirit of a deceased person can enter a living person.
Do they believe that?
This is a very Kabbalistic. So you have to find a Kabbalistic Jew for this.
But what I'm saying is this.
It's also
Elijah coming
held by
back.
those apostles at the time, because the guy that was disabled, and then not the apostles, but somebody said, "Oh, was it this man who has sinned or his parents?" And then Jesus said, "No, neither. It was for him to glorify God." You know, the guy that was.
Yeah, but
So that gives the instance that he must have done something previously. Before he was manifest, if he was born disabled, assuming.
They're asking, is he disabled by virtue of an action that he took or an action that his parents took?
Yeah, exactly.
That isn't quite the same thing that I'm referencing here. I'm referencing somebody dying and literally the spirit coming back again in someone else. For example, in like rabbinical Kabbalistic Judaism, they do believe, you've heard about that thing about Rebecca being 3.
Sorry?
You've heard about that thing about Rebecca was 3. You've heard that before?
Yeah.
So in the actual like if you want like Jewish tafsir or interpretation of that idea, most of them will say that she was a maiden. So she was 14 or 15. However, some believe, the ones that hold to this like weird reincarnation view, I can give you the name of it if you want to see it as well, that the spirit of Isaac's mother reincarnated into Rebecca. And at the point of their marriage, that had happened for 3 years. So she was 3 spiritually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
But I don't hold to that.
What I'm saying is this. What about somebody who has not died?
So somebody who has not separated.
Like Elijah, he wasn't dead.
Well, I say he has died. Bodily. Bodily. Huh?
How did he die?
When he was taken up, somehow he just shed his physical flesh.
Do we have information in the Bible like that?
We do not. However, we can infer from other things that physical people don't enter heaven.
That's the reason
No
why.
man shall enter heaven.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
Oh, no man has come from heaven except he.
3:13. Isn't it?
No man has been to heaven except he who came from heaven, basically himself. Let me show you the Jewish reincarnation thing.
Yeah, that reincarnation thing, like, I do wonder,
It's,
how
it's
can someone get born
called-
disabled and then just live once and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Well,
I
it's
do
like
kind of think, and if
it's
soul
called
is-
Gilgul. Yeah, but it's like an esoteric thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you think? Do you rule that out completely, the concept of reincarnation? And what about like when people have like past life and they can say things? Have you seen those kids? When
I
they're
have.
Like,
I have.
live here,
Funnily, well, I think it can be a number of things, right? I don't rule out possession of like a demonic spirit. I don't rule that out.
Oh yeah.
But potentially, I might need to look further into this because, for example, as Christians, we do say that our religion does come from Judaism, but there's an importance in delineating what are the man-made traditions in Judaism and what are the actual like inspired concepts in Judaism. Yeah. So I have never heard any Christian talk about the idea of reincarnation in this way.
Man is appointed once to die. Is that the man?
Yep.
Dave,
All right.
are you next week?
All weeks, man, all weeks. I'm back. Yeah. All right. God bless.
Is that the man David that is appointed to die, or is that your spirit is appointed one appointment on this earth?
Yeah. So death for us isn't some kind of like extinguishing of the spirit. It's just a separation of a spirit from soul. Now, interestingly, with those people who hold that view, it will be interesting to find out what they believe happens when somebody who reincarnates into the body of another person, when that person dies, does that spirit like experience death twice? That's an interesting idea to run by them, but I don't have any opinions to do with it.